morning. I'm Devisena. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about insulin pump and overview topic. This topic is present in the subject medical electronics. Insulin. Insulin is an anabolic hormone that promotes glucose uptake, glycogenesis, lipogenesis, and protein synthesis of skeletal muscle and fat tissue through the tyrosine kinase receptor pathway. Function of insulin. When you take insulin, it helps to move glucose out of your bloodstream and into cells. Your cells use some of that sugar for energy and then store any leftover sugar in your fat, muscles, and liver for later. Once the sugar moves into your cells, your blood glucose level should go back to normal. Here is a transfer of glucose from blood to cell. Insulin pump. Blood glucose regulation is of a great concern for insulin dependent patients with excess insulin delivery. Both conditions can cause dangerous complications for diabetic patients, and hence glucose regulation in blood is of prime importance. Insulin pumps are used to deliver insulin in small quantities, allowing the glucose level to remain as close as possible to that of non-diabetic persons. Different control techniques are used to maintain the glucose level, and most of them depend on an exact mathematical or empirical model of insulin-glucose interaction. Pancreas gland representation is shown here. Here is a representation of pancreas. In this diagram, we are seeing the head of the pancreas, body of the pancreas, tail of the pancreas. The main purpose of the pancreas is to secrete pancreatic juice that helps in digestive system, that we will discuss here. Function of pancreas. During digestion, your pancreas make pancreatic juices called enzymes. These enzymes break down sugars, fats, and starches. Your pancreas also helps your digestive system by making hormones. These are chemical messages that travel through your blood. Representation of the function of pancreas. Exocrine. The pancreas produces enzymes that help digest our food. Another representation of the pancreas function. Risk factors contributing to poor pancreas health is shown below. Is shown here. Artificial pancreas device system. Blood glucose device. Closed loop insulin delivery system representation is shown here. The desired blood glucose is fed to the controller. The insulin pump is connected to the controller. The dosage of the insulin is being controlled by the controller. The insulin pump is further connected to the patient. To the patient, blood glucose sensor is connected. The level of the blood glucose for the patient is being monitored and it gives the output to the controller. Now the controller compares the blood glucose level and the desired blood glucose, and accordingly it is acting. That is why this representation is called as the closed loop insulin delivery system. Artificial pancreas representation is shown here. In this, a closed loop representation is shown here. Insulin action delay. The periphery is approximately 20 minutes. Liver is approximately 100 minutes. Plasma glucose and intestinum plasma delay is approximately 5 to 15 minutes. This is represented here. To 100 minutes. Insulin pump representation is shown here. In this diagram, we are seeing the representation of the insulin pump. The insulin pump is being controlled by a remote control, and that is also given side by side. Representation of insulin pump on the skin is shown here. Program controlled insulin dosing device. There has been intensive research to develop an artificial pancreas. By this, it is meant a device which consists of a blood sugar sensor, a computer, and insulin pump. Such a system would bypass the body's own pancreas. However, the development of a glucose sensor is probably the most difficult component of the system. Therefore, a more practical approach has been followed to develop a program-controlled insulin pump. This pump delivers insulin through a catheter inserted in the body. The device can deliver the insulin in two ways. The first one is the fixed program units with a preset 24-hour rate per time profile, and the demand program units with which a basal rate is pre-selected and supplementary dose is triggered at meal times. An external programmed controlled portable insulin dosing device has the following design procedures. It should be possible to wear the device in comfort for long periods, inconspicuously, and under all normal living conditions, inside and outside the clinic. The patient should be able to go about his normal work. It must be easy and safe to operate both by the physician and by the patient. All infusion paths should be possible and practicable, including intravenous, intraperitoneal, subcutaneous, and intramuscular. The pump must have sufficient supply pressure reserved to prevent possible catheter clogging through microthrombi. The highest possible level of patient safety must be achieved. Malfunctioning of the device must be excluded as far as possible, or must be signaled immediately to the patient, and must never lead to dangerous overdosing. In order to fulfill these requirements, a stepping motor-driven roller pump with swing-out counter jars is employed as a pump. The device is of demand rate type, that is, on a preset basal rate, a supplementary dose of insulin of selectable size is called up by the patient at meal times. The supplementary dose is administered as a rectangular rate profile with variable time or amplitude. The insulin reservoir consists of a collapsible laminated foil bag and forms a one-trip article together with the attached silicone pump tubing. The catheter can be connected to the pump tubing with a standard connector. The number of alarm and safety circuits ensure that a dangerous condition cannot occur. In case of failure of a system component, which would lead to unintentional overdosing, the pump is automatically switched off and an accosting signal is triggered.
Thank you very much for listening this lecture. For further updates, kindly subscribe this channel. If you like this video means kindly share this video to your friends. Thank you.